Off the back of a baby-faced brace, France march on to the Euro 2016 finals this Sunday to face Portugal, and the Germans are left going home. An unexpected result, to say the least. That's not saying that France weren't in it with every chance to go through to the final, but the Germans, as the Germans usually do, often grind out a result. But the French team, fans, everyone together collectively silenced Germany. So before I get to the football, let me just say how important this is. Not just for France to perform well in this tournament, but to get to the final and to see their fans so jubilant, just enjoying the situation. It's great to see. This has been a tortured country who's faced great adversity in the last year or so, and it is encouraging to see that light that is able to come through, which is the world of football that brings everyone together to enjoy this tournament. So I was happy to see the French national team go on to the final now with a chance to try and bring some hope and some joy back to the tortured nation as of this year. But to get to the football, so Germany went with an interesting lineup. There wasn't as much flair in the final third as I would expect from the Germans, especially when you play Thomas Müller up top on his own. He is a good striker. He often plays off the front man at Bayern Munich. So when you put him up there on his own, you need some outlets for him to work off of. And I think that's where Germany really were lacking. That flair, that I would say final touch in the final third, rather than having Mesut Ozil try to do it himself, in which he dropped deep. You have three midfielders who are very similar in the way they operate. With Emre Can, Schweinsteiger and Toni Kroos, it started to get very compact in the middle, and France started to look more dangerous the more they stretched them wide. And I have to give so much credit to that triangular midfield of the French national team. I wasn't a big fan of Kanté being left out, but Sissoko was phenomenal for me today. He was the standout midfielder. He's not $100 million worth or £100 million worth like Paul Pogba. Don't get me started on that. I know Pogba's a good player. I just 100 million. It's ridiculous. Either way, Matuidi, Pogba and Sissoko did their job very well. They suffocated Germany's attack, forced them to try and play the ball deep from wide areas, which just was never really going to cause problems for that French defence. They would rather take the ball into the box early than have teams try to get in behind them, because that's where France's weakness has been this tournament, is when their opposition is able to try and break that back four, get in behind the likes of Patrice Evra or Test, Bakary Sagna, and drill the ball low and hard. And when Germany did do that, they caused some problems, but they did not do it enough. So France eventually grew in confidence. It was a ball into the box, and Schweinsteiger, with that abundance of experience now, he looked like he was enjoying himself out there up to that moment. He jumps with Patrice Evra, his hand just flailing in the air. So experienced, this guy. He's played his trade for many major clubs, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, and you just do not expect them to do that. Now, I watched Twitter explode. Of course, a lot of people are biased. They were clouded by their Germany nationalism, their patriotism, and whatever else you want to call it. It was a penalty kick. There's no other way to describe it. You don't jump with your hands in the air. You don't jump like that, especially in the world's largest stage. It's Patrice Evra. He's going towards goal. Yeah, he might get a header. It might flicker on. It might go in the back of the net. You never know, but he put his team at risk by having his hands up. I think he tried to grab his jersey, and eventually he just gave an easy decision for the referee. And Antoine Griezmann, credit to this lad. He is years ahead of his time in experience. He's years ahead of his time in ability. He is the only player in the French national jersey that I would put $100 million, £100 million price tag on, but he doesn't seem to be going anywhere. He is very loyal to that Atletico Madrid team, but he steps up. Undoubtedly, he has the memory of that Champions League penalty kick miss in his head, but he still steps up confidently against the world's best goalkeeper, sends him the wrong way, and with that celebration, whatever it is, as long as it's not a dab, I'm happy with it. So you be you, Antoine Griezmann. And then from that moment on, Germany started to panic a little bit, even in the second half, dropping the ball wide, trying to put it into the area from deep when you've not really got the biggest attacking threat in the air. Yes, Muller's good with his head, but you've not got Gomez in there who's going to try and at least get a flick on or be deadly when he happens to have space in the box. And instead, I was a little disappointed with Joachim Löw and disappointed with Germany. I'm sure Joachim Löw will deal with this loss how you expect Joachim Löw to deal with this loss. Insert the GIF. Cheers.
Ecco, guardate qua. C'è ancora tutto? Forse no.
And then it's a rare error from Manuel Neuer, which causes the game to really slip out of Germany's reach at this point. He comes out. It's a good bit of footwork from Paul Pogba. I wasn't completely blown away, and everyone's going to think I'm just a hater of Paul Pogba. I'm not. I'm just a hater of this mainstream media bubble that we've all been sucked into, where we put a price tag on a player before they've really obtained greatness. Like £100 million. Come on. Jesus, you could solve world hunger probably with that amount of money, but you give it to a player who has had a few good seasons and he looks very promising when he opens up his stride and he's moving with the ball. He's like a large gazelle, and he is very talented, but it's still, there's a handful of players, if even, that get that price tag put to them. Maybe I'll do a clip on that. But anyway, nice bit of footwork. Plays it into the box, and then Neuer, miscommunication there after ball time went off. They looked a little bit more fragile at the back, and it lands to that man, Antoine Griezmann, the only player on the park in a French jersey that I think you don't want that ball falling to. His reactions are great, and then he puts it home. So if you look back, yes, I'm a little bit happy because I did say that France are going to go on and win it, but that doesn't mean I think they will win it still, because I think Portugal are going to be happier that they're facing France. Now, that being said, Germany are always going to be a frustrating opponent, and I was worried that if Germany got into the final, they would discard of Portugal. Now, the thing about France is that they're good going forward, but they've yet to face a team like Portugal who are simply just going to wait for them and try to absorb as much pressure as possible and hit them on the counter-attack. Germany were more of a slower build. They moved the ball around a little bit more, and they allowed France to retreat into their own half. It's going to be the opposite in this game. I think that Portugal are going to sit back. They're going to allow France to come at them, and then try to hit them on the counter. My early prediction for this game is it's definitely going to extra time, and I think it's anyone's at that point. It's up for grabs. Cristiano proves that he's really looking forward to this tournament. He's wanting to try and deliver Portugal that major trophy that potentially sets him apart from a lot of players out there. I still don't think it puts him ahead of Messi, so relax on that, but we may do that clip later in the future. But I am excited for this final. Portugal have proven that you don't need to be the best team throughout the tournament to get to the final. Greece proved that years back, and now France have proven that with the home nation's backing, you can overthrow a giant as they did against Germany. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. We will be back with more discussions around the final, tactical clips coming up very soon. Hit me up on Twitter, Francis_Maxwell, and I'll see you soon.